Anton, he did not have to die.
Dad's gone. All my brother wanted and needed, asked for, was my father to tell him that he loves him. Or my father responds to my brother that I can't arbitrarily say that I love you.
McKnight is finally speaking up after being called out months ago for not being there for his son that just passed on earlier this year, and his older son is speaking up also. Let's talk about it. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video we want to talk about McKnight and his Enstrel family. So I'm just going to catch you guys to speed on what's going on. So we've done a couple of videos here on this channel talking about McKnight and his family, his first marriage, his ex-wife and his older children, and how he disowned his older children so that after he has been with this other one. And this has struck entire conversation on the internet because people could not comprehend why McKnight is treating his older children like that. And this is a man that has openly and repeatedly talked about how these children was conceived out of sin, which we're going to get into. But also what has gotten a lot of people talking or calling him out the most was the fact that his younger son from his first marriage and the circumstances around his death has gotten people talking, because he died after he gave up to the battle of cancer, and people are like, why didn't McKnight show up and care for his son and all that? And also rumor was also coming out saying that the son reached out to him and he refused to have anything to do with the son before the son passed on. So right now, McKnight went on this podcast to have a conversation and probably to clear the air of what really happened and why he's estranged from his older children and why he doesn't want anything to do with them, and how the narrative that he refused to help his son with cancer, Nico, how that is not true. And after he did his interview, which we're going to get into, his older son, McKnight Jr., the first McKnight Jr., actually went on the podcast to speak on it and said exactly what happened, because he was asked the question based on what his father has said. Anyway, guys, let's go check out both interviews and then we'll come back and talk more.
Two families are two prominent families in the Black Adventist Church. We both met at the college where I was going. She came, okay. I was a sophomore, she was a freshman. We kind of started dating. The next year she gets pregnant. This is back when shame was a real thing.
I know, yep, I get it.
She's back home, she tells me she's pregnant and that she's going to get an abortion. Because I'm like, yeah, we should probably do that. You're 18, I'm 20. Why would we? I'm just about to start this whole thing. Maybe this is the route we need to go. And she agrees. But I'm like, oh, dodged a bullet. I'm going out to sign my deal in California. When I leave there and get back to Huntsville, that's when she called me and said, actually, I didn't have the abortion. So now I'm like, I got to tell my mom. My mother, who played the piano and was singing in the choir every week, you know, in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, if your kid has a baby out of wedlock, you no longer can hold any church office. You can't sing up in front. You can't do it. You are held responsible for whatever the kids do. I honored my mother, and I tried to do the right thing with a woman that I hadn't even known a year yet. We got married in September, baby in November. We had sort of an agreement. You handle this part. I'm not changing diapers. I'm 20 years old. This was not what I expected to do. You made this decision. You're going to handle that, and I'm going to handle this.
Yeah.
When you make that bargain, you say, hey, you're going to take care of this. This is your responsibility. And they say, got it. And you go and you do what you have to do. You're expecting that to be the case. But we don't realize is that people will tell you whatever it is they want to tell you to keep you there until that first argument. Then the real thing starts to come out. But by then, you're looking at your life. You're like, well, and I had this conversation with my mother, like, why did you have me do this? You tried this. It didn't work. Now you got me doing it.
Right.
It was tough, but I'm already in it. We separated 4 times before we ended up getting divorced ultimately anyway.
How far into the marriage would you say the first separation?
2 years.
Because you were married for what, 13 years?
Yeah, 13.
So why not just break off? Why stick it out for 13 years?
For the kids. I was never in love with their mother. I wasn't. They weren't made from love to begin with. And I said this before, and people got so mad, this obligation that just because you lay with somebody now, it's sort of an 18-year sentence of some kind, or beyond that, because it's forever. There's resentment there. But at the same time, you do have these children, and you want to try to do your best to do right by them. If we were never supposed to be together like this in the first place, but we have these children, we both have to do what's right for them. And you're right. What we should have done was just separated for good then.
What's that nail in the coffin that then leads both of you to come to the conclusion that you guys are no longer good together, regardless of whether or not you have kids or not?
I think we always knew we weren't that. She may have been lying to herself if she thought otherwise. For me, when I realized I could parent those boys without her, I could be a good parent. I could be there for them and I could give them what they needed from me without being married to their mother.
Do you think that the kids were the thing that kept y'all together as long as you were?
Absolutely. They weren't going to go to college, that they wanted to be in music. I'm on tour. I'm on several world tours at this point, and I took them all over the world with me because I said, listen, you didn't grow up like me. I grew up singing in front of people, in church, everywhere. You guys have learned in the studio, and you're great, but you need to know what it's like to be out here on stage, to know the grind of having to have lobby call and be on time, the grind of having to do sound checks and be there and perform and do so. Come out with me. I'll have a section of my show where you guys can come out. I can introduce you. You can start to feel what it's like. And we did that for a while. There's so much going on at this point. They're back with me every day. I have about 20 kids in my house, just on the floor. There's weed. There's all this other kind of stuff going on. Both of their girlfriends are living at the house, along with all these other people who are just, sleeping on the floor, sleeping,
So they're living like rock stars.
Oh, yeah, completely. Things just started getting out of control. We did a tour where it's my brother from Take Six, my two boys, and myself. It's sort of like a McKnight. We're going to, the next phase of what we're doing. We got 4 shows left. We come home, and the two boys say, we miss our girlfriends. We ain't going back. Which is fine, or whatever. On or about 2015, the oldest son has children of his own. When he had the first one, the woman he had the children with went on, I think, welfare. I had moved them out of my house because I couldn't take the weed smoke and all that. But I told him, listen, here's an apartment. It's brand new. I'm going to pay for it for a year while y'all get yourselves together. You are now 24 and 21. Here's your place. Now all your friends come over there. Be creative. You have all these people staying with you. Have them pay some rent. $100 here, whatever, whatever you have to do while you guys can get your music off the ground. They had produced a record at my house. It was out. It was doing well. My whole team put them at the Roxy on Sunset.
Yep.
They start doing live gigs. Now 50 people showed up the first time. The second one, maybe 75, 100 people showed up. It's going too slow. They quit. Here's this apartment. I'm going to pay for everything, but get your life together. Figure out what you're going to do. You have this much time. A year passes. They still haven't done it. I said, okay, I'll do another year. Here's your second year. They're 26 and 23 by then. I'm leaving to go out of the country, and I get detained because they're looking for him.
Yeah.
And we have the same name. He now has 2 from that same girl. We had sat them down and said, listen, what are y'all going to do? You got to get together. Well, she says to me, well, he told me you were going to pay for everything.
As a grown man?
When the second one comes, he comes and tells me that he just happened to be over there and she raped him. And I'm like, this is where we are now?
Yeah.
6 months later, the oldest calls me. He's like, listen, I don't have a place to stay. Can me and my new girlfriend come live with y'all for a while?
Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't even the original girl.
As a father, I had to put my foot down because if I give in to this again, I said, no, you're going to have to figure this out. You're now 26, 27 years old. You got these 2 kids you're not taking care of.
Yeah.
You got this woman who now he has another baby with. So now he's having to deal with things on his own. And that's when, in 2019, when we decided to leave LA, he goes on his Instagram and tells everyone that he was abandoned, that I abandoned him and his brother. Abandoned.
Anybody can spin a narrative and then it completely, try to ruin your reputation that you've spent a lifetime building.
The saddest part of this is that the younger one ended up dying.
How do you feel about that?
I believe it's God's timing because, Anton, he did not have to die. When we talked, and we did talk to him earlier that year, that May, he's on the Shade Room. He's saying things like, oh, now remember, they've lied on me, but they continue to double down and triple down on the rhetoric. If my dad needed this, I wouldn't do this for him. He's dead to me, blah, blah, blah. Now we come to find out that 3 days after that's when he got diagnosed. They waited because he didn't have insurance. They waited 4 months According to all statistics, 91% of colon cancer diagnoses that are caught early are curable. From the time he got diagnosed to the time we found out, because they didn't tell us. I had to find out from somebody else.
Right.
We were the last to find out.
Wow.
So once we found out, we sprung into action. What can we do? Can we get the scans? Can we do this? Can we do that? Anton, by this time, it was stage 4. So you've lied on me.
Right.
You don't come to me. In my opinion, they martyred him so that they could keep this going.
That's deep.
That's what I truly believe.
Yeah.
Everybody's heard that voicemail. Leilani sent a message that said to his wife, you don't even have to tell him that it's us. We just want to help whatever we can do. And then they're like, well, he would have had to stay at your house and they wouldn't have been able to see him. I'm like, we never made that a stipulation. The facility that we found, that the only one that would allow him to come was closer to our house.
Right.
That's why we have an entire apartment downstairs with its own entrance. His wife wouldn't have to work. You can take care of him all day. Leilani wanted to take care of him. And his mother sent that message after we sent the message to him.
That's insane.
And it gets worse. She puts out the book in January. She's on an interview, I think in February, with Foxy 104.5, whatever, in Raleigh. They ask him how he's doing. She says he's healed. He's healing and he's doing fine. He's doing great. Now, I realize they blocked us all on social media. We don't know what's going on with them. The next thing we know, he's passed.
Wow.
Is no one interested in the truth? That message that I played for everybody was 20 months before he passed away. It was still when something could be done at the very least to make him more comfortable. They ran out there immediately and said, he never spoke to him. He didn't come to him. Here's all these messages on Twitter. I deactivated my Twitter 4 years ago, something like that. I don't know. You know, they didn't tag me. Nobody could call. Everybody's got my number. So they could say, he didn't even, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Last I heard, you said he was doing great.
One of the darkest and coldest and most disheartening memories of my life is the day my brother calls me sobbing with all that he's going through, looking death in the eye, to tell me I'm right about telling him not to call my father. Because I knew what was going to happen. Because I knew where my dad was. I told him, man, Dad is gone. Dad's gone. All my brother wanted and needed, asked for, was my father to tell him that he loves him. And my brother responds to him, I can't or my father responds to my brother that I can't arbitrarily say that I love you.
Right.
But this is the man that wanted to help him?
Yes, people heard the voicemail, but they have no idea that as a mom standing in the room with my son on speaker with his wife and hearing how belittling his father talked to him. If the first comment out of his mouth was, I don't appreciate the way you're treating my new family, who gives a damn, man? Absolutely not.
Our break.
Look, I've heard your break. Your father describes the break between you and him as occurring later, because he says even after the divorce, things were okay. Even when he had a new girlfriend, even when he remarried, things were okay, that things were still stable and solid. He says at some point he came on, or you guys came on the road with him. He wanted you all to, you all were artists, and he wanted you to experience the road. He wanted you to know what it was like to play in front of crowds and to also have to get up early and do all the things. And when y'all got there, these are my words, my interpretation of him. He said y'all were a little entitled. He said there was a lot of drugs, a lot of laying around. Then it was, I miss my girlfriend, I'm going back. That there was a lack of accountability, maybe a slightly lower work ethic than is needed.
Unbelievable.
That's the gist. That was my takeaway from him, and that he got tired of babying y'all also. So
Hilarious.
What do you say?
All right, here we go. You got to think, man. The longest amount of time that me and my brother spent with my father consecutively were the 9 years we toured together. I started touring at 17.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. My brother's 14. Hadn't spent any time with my dad like that yet. Me and my father had a special relationship because I played ball. So I got to hang out with my dad more just because of that. Let's start there. I turned 18, I moved right back to LA. I don't tell my mama, I don't tell my brother, nothing. I left them for a year to go be with my dad. Barely saw him then.
Did he encourage that move?
No, he didn't even know. And I still think to this day that one pitiful movement on my part changed the trajectory of a lot of things, but that's a different story. But me and Nico, we worked our asses off, man. Like, I don't care what my dad said. We loved it. We got to tour. We got to travel. We got to learn a lot. I watched my dad open and close a show every night. I loved it, man. This is my favorite time of my life, was doing that with my father and my brother. And we worked hard together. We worked very, very hard. Lots of early mornings, lobby calls. We were never late. I ran the sound checks most of the time before my dad got there. You feel me? Did we party? Did we hang out? Of course we did. I was 19 years old in the Highlands chilling. We smoked weed. To talk about us as we are drug addicts and all that, we live in California, in the valley, and we have money.
I think you have to.
Entitled. We were young kids just like all of y'all. What the funniest thing about this, like I said to my grandfather the other day, is the thing that the way people would tell me what they would do with my life.
Right.
The way that people out there, because of the things that my dad have said to us, it's astonishing to me what people think they would have done in my shoes, particularly. I can't speak for my brother, and he's not here to speak for himself anymore.
Right.
So the things that have even been said about him as of late, those are things that, again, I won't let slide.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you guys think about this conversation Bram McKnight and his son is probably talking about. What are your thoughts? Do you think Bram McKnight is making them look like the bad guy, or do you think the son is trying to make him the bad guy? Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. But please, as always, keep it respectful here on this channel. We're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thoughts. Love to know what you guys think. So here's my own take on this. Why does it look like the light keeps getting brighter? Okay. Let's leave it this way. Okay, so here's my own take on this, is that I feel like multiple things can be true at the same time. Okay, so one question I want to ask before I even give my thought. So the son just admitted that they talked with the father for 9 years. So that means they were getting paid. So what were they doing with their money at that time? Where they were working with the dad and all that, touring and all that, what were they doing with their money? So that comes in. So as much as this is not me trying to defend Brian McKnight, because I feel like he's a terrible father. But at the same time, I could see some of his point of view of where he's talking about how his sons, they feel a little bit entitled because probably they're Nepo babies and all that. So they feel some type of entitlement and they feel like things should be handed over to them. I I can see that, okay? I can see that, and I don't really think that it can be in a positive life and in a negative life. A lot of Nepo babies, some of them expect their parents to put them on, and they don't have to start from scratch. And it's okay for me is that if you're a Nepo baby, like that should be like a stepping stone for you. You don't have to start from scratch like your regular Smurger or your parents that went from scratch to where they are. That's a privilege, or that's a advantage that you should take to your own detriment. And so I can see that. I can see how Brian McKnight will probably get frustrated probably when they were younger and say, you know what, if you guys are not ready to put in the work, then I don't want to all cause the estrangement that went down between him and his son and his other family. Okay. I get that. And from the way the son is even saying his own part, like very I don't even know the word to use, like, okay, yes, we did that, we had money, we were kids. I get it, they were young and they were living the life. And this is the thing about young people. So I can see that happening. The son did not deny that they didn't do any, they did weed, they party, and those are some of the things the father said. And they had baby mamas. I know that they had kids, they had people all around. And that's what comes from being a Nepo baby. You're going to have so many people around you and all that. And for me, I believe that probably they didn't listen to their dad when their dad was probably trying to caution them and probably try to steer them in the way it feels like that's the way they should go. Then Brian McKnight on the other hand, I feel like it's coming across like if you don't do what I ask you to do, I see that you are about to waste your life. So if you don't do what I ask you to do, then I think I'm going to wash my hands off you. So that's the vibe he's giving me. But one of the things I feel like we're not first of all, the fact that Brian McKnight is out here talking about how his children were not made out of love or out of obligation. You lay down and you sleep with this woman without any form of protection, and you think that you can put her having not wanting a pregnancy or not wanting the wanting to go for an abortion. You think you can put it all on her. You know exactly you were an adult when you decided to lay down with your mother. So you know what happened when two adults lay down with each other, have sex with each other without any form of protection or caution. You know, we all know what is going to happen. So why are you putting the entire responsibility on her and saying, oh, because you are going to sign the deal and all that? You know you are going to sign the deal. So why didn't you just keep your dick in your pants? Okay. For me, that's like, so I personally, I didn't like the fact that he was trying to shove it this way and say, oh, okay, they were not made out of love. Okay, first, let's even say the first one was not made out of love. Your mother, blame it on your mother and your ex-wife. I say, oh, your mother made you and you did it for your mother and all that. Did your mother force you to have the second one to go unprotected? It was 3 years apart. And you even say, he even said it in the interview that their first separation was 2 years into the marriage. So after your first separation and you feel like, oh, I don't love this woman, you still went ahead to have another baby with him. So I feel like he should, like, I don't understand why I just feel like that is not the part of the story where saying that the children were not made out of love. And I'm like, bruh, you brought them here. You and the mother brought them here. So please, 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 please. Then let's even come and talk about the death of his son, Nico, and all that. See, I don't care whatever the sons might have done to him, tarnish his image and all that. Da, 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 da. And I do get it from somebody that is in no contact with their father. But as a father, especially when it has to do with a life and death situation, you step in and you want to be there with you want to be there for your son. Even if the son is pushing you away, you want to be there for that. Not even just your son, your family members and all that. Even though they are pushing you away, even though you hate their guts, even though you can't stand the things they've said about you. I just feel like, for me, when it comes to life and death, I feel like that's where you cross the line personally. I just feel like he could have done more, but him saying that, oh, he didn't know and all that. Okay. But what I still don't get is the way he comes online and try to would I say dehumanize and talk down on his older children. Like I personally don't understand that. And then try to uplift, in quotes, and try to uplift his other children. And mind you, he has a girl. I think he has a daughter too with the ex-wife too. So you went ahead to have 3 other children, even though you did not love their mother, and you're yet saying, oh, they were not made out of love. So I personally I don't understand. You're a grown man. You brought these children. You already know how complacent you are in the story, but yet you're on here on the internet trying to prove your point to people, and I don't understand and glamorize your new family. Anyway, there's going to be a part two of this video, people reacting to this conversation. So I'm going to leave my other things I want to say to the other part. So yeah, you guys let me know what you guys think about this story down in the comment section. But as always, please keep it respectful. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversations. So go ahead, feel free, share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see, and that'll be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.